Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata, and welcome back to another episode of The Real 50 Over 50. Today, we have Hilary DeCesare. She's the CEO of the ReLaunch Company. She's a catalyst of the relauncher revolution and a leading voice for remarkable Gen X and midlife women. She's a 3 times best-selling author, a speaker, and an award-winning coach. She's the host of the Relaunch to Rich Life podcast and live events, and changes lives with her coveted 3HQ method. Hilary was named, along with Mel Robbins, one of Success Magazine's top 10 coaches of 2025. And today, she's here with us to inspire you to your next relaunch. So stay tuned and get ready to be inspired. Welcome, Hilary.
Donna, thank you. And thank you for that sweet introduction. I appreciate it. And you know what I love? I just got back from Italy. And the way you said my last name is Italian, DeCesare. And it's actually DeCesare here in the States. But it was so great because I felt like I'm still back in Italy. And I'm like, oh, it's amazing. You're great. I'm so excited.
My Sicilian roots came up with the pronouncement.
No, it's great. I love it. Keep doing it. In fact, maybe I just change it from this point forward.
I think you should. I like it better.
I do too.
So welcome. We have a lot to talk about because I think we do a lot of similar things in different ways. And right before we went live, we were talking about what you can delegate and what you can't. Can we start there?
Thank you. Yes, let's, because I do think that there's a misconception out there, especially as you're growing your business. And having been doing this for 25 years, working with people to try to scale their business, right? Get through the gates. And there's always a gate between the 250,000, the 500,000, the million, the 2.5 million, 5 million, 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, you name it. I've helped people get through each and every
game. It's a different game.
And at every level, there's always that, well, I should be able to delegate this. I should be able to delegate that. Well, let me tell you, there are certain things that I have not ever seen to be able to truly get delegated. And when you do too early delegate, it will absolutely come back and bite you in the ass. Well, I cannot say anything besides that.
And when you're changing, either going to another level or making any kind of significant change about your messaging or your business or your audience or who you serve, you have to go back to the roots and start over again. And you can't delegate that part either.
No, and that's such a great point. And when you actually said it before we jumped on the show, here's what I think when you look at the 100 to 500,000 and you sit there and you're starting to potentially hire in, you've got some virtual assistants, you might have somebody who's helping you with content. And I made this mistake. And I thought, well, great. I've got someone who's, can write my content for me at that point. And I gave it to them and I read it. And I thought, it's almost there, but not really. And then I delivered it because I was actually coming in from an international trip. And I thought, okay, I don't really have time to go back and rework the whole thing. I'll do it. It fell completely like a bomb. Like it was just like, whoa, like nobody, I think that was like a zero. Nobody bought anything. And I then recreated it myself with exactly what is meaningful for me. You said 3HQ, my methodology, which is the headquarters of you, your head, your heart, your highest self. Highest self is best version of you. And I incorporated back in the head what really is like, what do people really ultimately need to know about this content? What is it that is like what's in it for me, right? And then I added the heart element. I added that like feeling of like the why factor, like why is this going to be relevant? And then tapping into the energy behind it. Like we always talk about, money has energy. And if you're not where you thought you should be with revenue or consistent revenue, There's a lot to be said about the whole, what's happening with energy. And I, again, redid it, modified it, and it was a huge success.
Of
But
course,
I was
because it was
thinking,
you.
right, but I kept thinking, like, I'm paying this person so much money. They should be able to create this.
There's
Wrong.
very few people. There's
Yeah.
very few people that could do that, and they charge a lot of money. And when you're in that stage of your business between the 100 and 500,000
Yeah.
range, you don't have the money to pay somebody to do that. You just don't.
And I don't even, I mean, I've had businesses that have crossed over 7 figures and all that.
Mhm.
And even when you get into a bigger
No, you
company,
don't. You really
you
don't. Because
still, at the beginning, when there's the brainstorming, when there's the foundation, you've got to be involved. You
yeah,
cannot, like I said, you cannot just assume they understand you. It's like assuming when you're on social media. And it was, interesting. I've gone through a lot of social media people to help with, like, trying to, basically, let's be honest, be me,
yeah.
right? Be me. And even when I, was on this trip, I had somebody monitoring and doing some things for me. And I
It's not
finally
as
just said,
easy.
please stop. Just please stop. I have
Yeah,
to do this. Like, it has to be my voice.
it
It
has
has
to.
to be, it does. And so you think, like, well, wow, how, when do you step out of that in the business to be out of the business, to be like managing it and to be able to really look at it from a different level? There's certain parts of the business you will always be involved with. You wouldn't
You
ever
will.
just say, hey, I'm not going to look at my finances. I'm going to let
Yeah.
my,
And and
financial
and
advisor, my
and
financial
and
person. You
the
can't.
thing is like, as you move into different levels of your business where you can be handing off more things, you have to look at it from a multi-layered approach. It's like maybe you can't throw all of the social media to somebody else, but maybe you can get like 80% to somebody else.
Exactly.
And you need to be the one that's listening. You need
Mm,
to be the one that's responding to comments. You need to
yeah,
be the one connecting the dots from somebody maybe that you went to high school with that is now kind of like in a position that you could see on LinkedIn, that is somebody that you can connect with, that, oh, look at that. They're connected to
right.
27 of we have 27 mutual connections, and 3 of them are really close colleagues of mine. Nobody's going to know that but you.
No, and that
Nobody's
just
going to know
happened.
that but
That
you.
exact scenario just happened to me,
And it will happen
where
again.
I, was gone. So, and I'm not saying, hey, when you're on vacation, you need to be doing it all. But really, how much time does it really
It
take?
doesn't. It takes 15 minutes a day.
Doesn't. And
It
I went
doesn't.
in and I just looked, and it was someone that I hadn't actually connected with since my Oracle days. I was at
Yeah.
Oracle for almost 10 years. And the response back was, she wrote, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I love seeing your picture, that. And the comment back was, isn't it true? I'm like, oh my God. So I had to immediately jump in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, it is so great to, be connected with you again. How
Yeah.
are you? And that would have
And
been
nobody
totally missed had I not jumped in.
yeah, and totally missed. And, um, just like if you go into like, when I used to do social media management years ago, I stopped doing it because of this, right? And I started to teach people how to do this really well because it changes everything. It's like a magic ball when you do it well, because now you see these conversations happening, and oh, which one do I want to be in? It's not like, oh, I have to do social and I'd rather have a colonoscopy. It's like I can actually this is something good. um, but I would actually change hats, like I would go into a social media management tool as doer Donna, and then I would log out and go back in to listen and to go back in and to
Mm,
engage and to go back in and be this curious, adventure person that was going to go find something. And, if you just connect with 5 people a week in a meaningful way, at the end of the year, that's 260 meaningful connections. What can
oh,
that
I have another great story around that
yeah,
connection thing.
go ahead.
Year and a half
Yeah.
ago, I had a big event,
Mhm.
And we were doing all the normal things, sending out emails. And about 2 months before the event, it was not even half full. I'm like, what is happening? Well, I dialed up the connection calls.
Mhm.
I said to myself, okay, for the next 30 days, I am going to get on 3 calls a day. 3 calls. And you're right. What does that equate to? 15 a week. All of a sudden, I'm 60 calls in for the
Yeah.
30 days, filled the event.
Yeah.
Those have become like those connection calls. And I said it to you when we had our, very first time that we met. It's so important to be able to still, you are the heartbeat of head, heart, highest self. You are the
Yeah.
heartbeat of your business.
Nobody's going to care as much as you.
Oh, and nobody's going to
Nobody's
be
going
like,
to know. Nobody's going to know the things that you would never even consider to tell somebody else.
and
And
nobody's
those
going
are
to
the
know
things
what's
that
going
will,
on in your head.
yeah,
Nobody's going to know what are you really thinking about right now in your business?
yeah.
I mean, okay, we got to go here because this is such a amazing. When you think about, and I'm a junkie around neuroscience, been studying it for about 15 years. And I have a psychology degree, so I love this stuff. When I just had another big event a few weeks ago, and after the event, super successful event, just like I'm so jazzed, I'm so fired up. But I started to contemplate the idea of like, where am I really going with the business? And I've done this, and this is all part of legacy. And, are you a lifestyle company? Are you a company in exit strategy? And literally, you and I have done this like so many times, it's crazy. But I started to think about this in a different capacity. And I thought, what do I really want right now? And the way your brain is designed is if you let it know what you are looking for, it brings it into your view because you have, millions of bits of information that can come at you and it can't take in it all. So you have to be the director. You got to be the driver of the car.
Yeah.
And so I said, here's what I want. I want to start talking to people about opportunities around licensing, being
Mhm.
able to license out there. Maybe it's a franchise model. Maybe it's what. Oh, guess what call I had this morning? All of a sudden, I'm looking at my notes right before the call, connection call, brand new call. And she says, yeah, my world is around franchisee, around licensing. And I'm like, really? Of course it is.
Mhm.
But that's where you have to, and before you even set up the connection call, you have to understand clarity is the key. It's the key, right? It's
Yeah.
everything. They say that um, uh, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, before they went to sleep, they would be crystal clear on what they were sending to their subconscious of what they really wanted to happen in the middle of the night. What answers did they need? Imagination has been proven before you even start to put pen to paper, typing away at what you're creating. You need to imagine it already created. And in that process, you can eliminate 80% of the mistakes, of the wasted time, of
Yeah.
you eventually procrastinating just by doing some of these simple, very simple tactics, habits of the success. It's crazy. So I'm like all about the connection call. I think it is super important. And again, you cannot delegate that.
You can't. You just can't. I mean, what I see people doing is, they're modeling their businesses, their micro, tiny little businesses after big corporations, but they're not big corporations. Like, stop doing that.
I love that. Just stop doing that. Why are you doing that? Again, I think what happens, and I was right there. I, came out of corporate 10 years and I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to start a business. I'm an
Mhm.
entrepreneur. I did it when I was in high school. I had a very successful business, right? Making t-shirts and decorating them and selling them and creating hair accessories. I mean, it's so funny. And so I thought, well, sure, I've done this. I can handle it. Here's the thing. Yes, you can, and it will take you a lot of relaunches along the way as you go through it, or you can get somebody who's already done it, who
Yeah.
has seen it, who, and it's not just, and I've loved what you have been able to create, because you've not only done it for yourself, which is critical. I sit here and I'm like, if I work with somebody who's 7 figures plus, you have to be in that club as well. Like, I can really, really sit there and say, yeah, been there, done that. Hey, these were the pitfalls. And so when you have a coach who has seen it, they can believe in you that you can do it. That's the key, believing in you that it is totally possible, because you, right, Donna, you've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of people use your process and have success. And so
And
you
but
can sit
here's
there and say,
another
yeah, it's
thing too.
possible for you. It is, it's
Here's an
possible.
here here's another thing too, is like, people have these delusional ideas of what success is.
Mm, so
You
true.
really have to, I mean, you have to decide what success looks like for you and in that stage of life. And this is one of the things that all of these interviews has been such a gift. Um, because you see how people, like, how their priorities change, how their priorities in their business change because of, the demands in their personal life, like the things that I could do now that I couldn't do as a single parent when my son was 7 years old. So I can't have the same business then that I have now. I could do things now I couldn't do when I was the sole responsible person for a small child. And you have to, like, embrace these new sections of life and ask yourself, like, what do I want in this phase? What do I not want in this phase? What do I no longer need? Instead of pulling it along with you like an anchor, you may not need something anymore. And then, like, what did I forget? What did I forget about? What did I put aside because I had a 7-year-old child, or I had an aging, ailing mother, or, my dog died, or like whatever it might be? What did
Mm.
you put aside and you didn't get a chance to do? Now is that opportunity to do it. And when I see people not taking advantage of this and not being curious about it, and or thinking that they have to burn it all down and start over again, it breaks my heart because it doesn't have to be that hard.
That's what we call relaunches, right? And
Yeah.
relaunches, I mean, we've all had, people are like when I say, what's the biggest relaunch that ever happened to you so far that really changed the trajectory of, and I do this on the podcast, Relaunch to a Rich Life. And it's interesting, we all laugh because it's like, really? One?
One.
Like, let's talk about. And I think the reason that I really wanted to start Relaunch at the time I did was I had a moment of, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And I think that there is that point, if we're honest with ourselves. Mine came when I was driving up the driveway after I had been on almost a 2-week business trip, and I had 3 little kids. I was a single mom as well, and my mom was helping at the house. And I drove up, I'm exhausted, I'm late getting home. I click the clicker to open the garage, and it starts to go up. Click, clink. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to break. My garage is about to break. And it just kept going slower and slower. And I watched it. And I had this voice inside my head, I'm done.
Yeah.
And it got louder. I'm done. I'm done. And I thought, oh my God, it's the garage door is me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
clink, clink, clink.
Yeah.
And, I sat there and I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And you try to just keep it going. You grind, you keep
Because
like
you have to. Who else is there, right? You're holding it together for how many people?
how many people? And it was during the time again, I had melanoma. I was going through a divorce. My business. I was like, oh my God, oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah.
It just
It's,
it's
the Calgon moment squared, right?
yeah, exactly. It is. And so you just sit there and you're like, all right. And I think that one of the first steps when you are in the process owning up that this is going to be your relaunch, that you want to elevate your wealth, you want to elevate your health, your relationships. Those are the three primary areas we work with. You have to be willing to say, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I am now going to look at things in a different way. As you said, which was so great, it is not about like burning the boats, never looking, not, thinking everything, oh my God, this was, done to me. Instead, it's like, all right, I'm pretty badass who I am right now. I got through a lot.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to embrace that and literally using, and I do a ton with energy and vibration, and
Mm-hmm.
I call it the E factor. Everyone's sitting there talking about the it factor, and I'm like, really, what is it? What is it? Nobody can really describe like, oh, it would be, I'm like, well, let's talk about the E factor, which is your energy. And let me tell you, if we can elevate your energy, I can tell you where your dreams lie. And I
Yeah.
can also see the blocks around that. And so we got to stop thinking about like, oh, she's got that it factor. Oh, BS. She's got an E factor and you need it and you can get it.
We all have it. It gets clouded. One of the
Yes.
most popular articles I wrote on my LinkedIn newsletter is, it's about, we don't need to burn down the ships. We need to call in the fleet.
That
And
is so good. You and I, as you said, we're very similar.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. I mean, we don't need, because when you have that message of I have to burn it all down,
Mm,
that's all that's doing is reinforcing that voice in the back of your head that's saying everything that you've done for the last 20 or 30 or 40 years is not good. It's not
that's
worth
why the
anything.
I'm done process, it's
Yeah.
not as you would think. Like you
No,
think I'm done. Like no, it's
I'm
I'm
done
done.
doing this.
I'm done. I'm done with where I am right now.
Yeah.
I'm done with being the victim. I'm done with like literally I'm saying, doing the same thing over and over, getting the same result. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. And I make people, I literally make them like scream it. Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes they're like, I'm in a conference room at my work. I'm like, then do it in your head, girl. But we got to be done at some point. You
Stamp
got
your
to,
feet.
you got to be willing to be like, you know what? As you say, your third act,
And there's nobody that could do, again, this is another thing that can't be delegated. This is a choice you have to make. It's not easy.
yeah. And
And
I'm going to say
everybody,
something. I had an interview yesterday that I did, and I had a guest on, and I'm not going to use her name, and you would know her. And on the outside, you would think, oh my God, she's got it all. Oh my God, I want to be just like her. I want to do everything so I can be like her. And before we started the show, we were talking, and I could just feel something was off. I had a near-death experience when I was young, and it's caused me to have some really crazy, crazy things that I can perceive about people. And I said, "Are you doing okay? Like, should we reschedule?" She's like, no, I'm totally good. I got my makeup on. I'm good. I
yeah.
want to get this done. I don't reschedule. I'd have to plan this again with you. I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? She said, I'm contemplating shutting it all down. I said, oh, you're done. She said, that's it. I'm done. I said, but what about it do you still like? And we started talking, and it was an interesting, which is what you do too. You get people on to the show prior, you call it, let's do a tech check, and you end up just chit chatting and you end up really connecting, and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. And by the time we hit, it's go time, it's show time, it was a very different conversation. And it was like, oh, didn't come up. In fact, she had inspiration and energy that she hadn't had before. And it does change everything. And there's a point where people say, I'm done with that. I'm like, and there was a woman on a call a couple of days ago, and she said, I'm literally going to leave corporate. I'm done. I'm done. I said, okay, but let's really talk about it. Like, is that really what you're done with? Or are you done with the, I don't know if I can swear, but like, the
Swear
jerk,
away.
the asshole that is, managing you right now, that's half your age and blah, 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 blah. It's kind of those conversations that we need to have and be okay with, because again, why is it good to have somebody that's been there, done that, heard it 1,000 times? Because we can sit there and be like, yeah, I get it. I get it.
We can hold it all together for them while they're figuring it out.
No doubt. No
You know,
doubt. That's
you need somebody
it's
to
super.
hold that. And it's like, if you don't have somebody alongside you when you're going through anything difficult, and it could be a coach, it could be a friend, it could be a therapist. There's so many different capacities
Yep.
this person can show up in, but you risk being lost in that in between space.
The messy middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
You need somebody to be holding the light at the end, saying, "There's a way out."
A friend of mine just climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and she went through a program that we have, and wasn't planning on, I don't know what I'm going to do. And during the program, she's like, I have to make this happen. I must do it. Raise money, go over, let's build a school for kids and everything. And in thinking about her journey, and of course, she sent the picture, right? Where you got your hands up, you got the V. For those that aren't watching this or just hearing it, you got the V, the moment of you're on top of the mountain. It's so great. But guess what? She can't stay up there. And in fact, because it takes so long to get up there, you literally aren't up there very long. You end up turning around and coming right back down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want people to hear that there's something that I love doing, which is pop the champagne. And if you're not, if you're doing mocktails, you can do pop the Perrier, whatever it is. You must be celebrating. One, it does a huge amount of hormone, releases in your head, these, incredible happy hormones of dopamine and oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. But you have the ability to stimulate those. And when you're stuck in the messy middle, what's really happening to your brain is that you're shutting down that prefrontal cortex, the conscious side of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel stuck. Sure. You feel like, this is like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm underwhelmed. And so what you have to be thinking is, for every mountaintop, there's got to be a valley.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're in the valley, realizing I'm in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Tony Robbins says, you're not stuck. Just take one little step. And that's not being stuck by definition. I'm like, so what we need to do is, how do you, even for 1 second, 1 minute, 2 minutes, get yourself elevated in energy just for that? No matter what relaunches are going on.
Yeah.
And again, my mom had cancer and died 14 months after she was diagnosed. I still had a business to run. I still had 3 little kids. I was still like, I had to bounce myself back up, even for 15-minute calls.
Yeah.
It was important, not just for the people I was supposed to show up for, but for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got to take care of you first.
And
that's such, not only an important lesson to learn, but something that is challenged almost daily, because there's always something coming at us.
It's so true. And there will be, you might not be in a relaunch right now, but tomorrow it could happen. And it's not doomsday. It's looking at it like it's life. It is. And, I always think when people are like, oh my God, you've had so much trauma. I don't have any. No, you do. We all do. It's just at different levels. And you can't compare your trauma to my trauma to somebody else's trauma. It's now looking at it from a different perspective, from that elevated mountaintop where, it brought me to where I am.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the person I am sitting right here with you unless, and I thank my younger version of me every single day.
Mm-hmm.
All those millions of versions of me, right, who got me through.
You see that chica behind me?
Oh,
That's from when I was 7 years old.
No way.
That's my inner child, and she sits back there, and she's got my back, and I've got hers.
Donna, That is a brilliant idea. And I have a picture that just came to me, and I'm gonna take that idea and I'm gonna do the same. It's a brilliant idea. The one that I constantly like go back and thank. Like, thank you for being so
She
strong.
she, I was I was under in a healing session over the phone probably 10 years ago.
Mm.
And in the middle of that session, I didn't realize that I got up, went to the closet, took her out. She was up on a shelf in the top of the closet and had been there for 10 years. Took her out, and when I came to on the couch, she was on my lap. And she's been with me ever since.
What a great story.
And so
That
that's
is,
my reminder.
yeah,
I
the
see
inner
her in every interview. I'm
yeah,
looking at her right now.
yeah. It's the inner child. It's, people like inner child work. Oh my God.
No, I had to learn
And
how to reparent myself. I was not parented properly. And I had to, before I could do any of the things that I do well,
mm,
I had to learn how to parent myself.
yeah, love you.
Yeah. And not, and more than love, understand, discipline,
Mm,
say no, um, care,
mm,
dream, all of those things. I mean, I was not, I was told at a very early age what was possible and what was not possible for me. And the not possible list was longer. And I
mm,
had to break all of that. And then I had to be sure that I was breaking that generationally from my child. And I did.
absolutely.
And she
It
helped.
reminds me, you had said that other commercial, and I remember, the when we were growing up, that Anjali,
I can't, I knew you were going to say that.
oh my God, bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan, and she's wearing that like ball gown,
Yeah.
and never let you forget you're a man. I'm like, what? What was going through all of our heads? Like, friggin' A, how am I ever gonna be like, how can I keep up with that? God, you poor girl back there.
I'm still working on being a Breck girl. You want me to stop frying things now?
I'm like, oh my God, really? And then you got Wonder Woman, and then you got the Bionic Woman. You got all these like superstars.
I just want to take a nap.
Yeah, I'm exhausted thinking about it. Although I did just get an Instagram. One of the Wonder Woman images came across, and she has a sad story, a relaunch story about her husband passing
Mhm.
because it was, they didn't do what they should have done. Same with, the my mom's story. So I kind of, it resonated with me, and I looked at her. I'm like, damn, maybe being Wonder Woman is like what we all need to be doing, because she looks fantastic, and just the
Mm.
energy associated with her. So keep doing the Breck thing. I'll keep trying to do some of these Wonder Woman, the stance, right? Shoulders back, then it changes your, everything
And then
inside.
you've got to spin around like really fast.
Yeah. And then don't forget
That's how
about
you get your bracelets.
the gold bracelets. I actually have clients who I'm like, they've got, these crazy, crazy people they work with. And I'm like, just very lightly, just kind of block that
Mhm.
thing, block that bad juju.
Oh man, the things we need to do to get through the day, huh?
Exactly.
That's so funny. Anyway, I cannot believe we have already gone through a half an hour. Didn't ask you any of the things I wanted to ask you. We're going to have to book another interview.
Well, I would love it. I'll come
Yeah.
back anytime.
And
Super
and
fun.
and and the thing is like I had no inkling of talking about delegation. And that was the thing we talked about right before we went live, and it turned into a beautiful half-hour conversation.
I really
Love it.
did. And I thank you for giving the platform in your show to be able to go there and just let it go where it's supposed to naturally flow.
Yeah, when I started this, I realized pretty quickly that this was just supposed to be organic.
Which is so much better. The ones that are so staged. And then this question, and then that question. You got to have the moment of like, where should this really go? What
Yeah.
do people at this point? And I'm sure your audience, there's been some of those, like I call them the pearls, right? Because when you think of an oyster and a little teeny bit of sediment gets in there, and then over a period of time, 6 months, it grows into a
Mhm.
pearl, right? I mean, like, you talk about a relaunch. That is like,
Yeah,
that is
and
the,
I'm going to start to get into some really serious modes of repurposing of some of this content because people have shared things, significant things, and I know the connections that have happened that have led to things that didn't exist before,
Mm,
which makes me,
beautiful.
I mean, that's why I do this, because I know that there's an alchemy that happens when the right people meet. And
100%.
I also really believe that it's going to be women like us that change this world.
We are changing it right
You're
now.
right. Yes. I stand correct.
It's happening right now through the
I agree.
waves.
I agree. I agree. And so the pearls that I like to end this with is a wisdom bomb. Do you have a little nugget to leave with people that they may be able to take with them throughout their day and make a
Mm,
difference?
no doubt. I think the most important is we in society right now, it's very easy to tune out, to just tune out and be like, I got to get through it. I got to get through it. Eye on the prize. But it's the people that can tune in to themselves, to understanding what's really going on with you. What are you thinking? How are you feeling energetically? Those are the ones that are relaunching into the massive success in health, wealth, and their relationship. So instead of tune out, think of tuning in multiple times during the day.
Mhm. Love it. Love it, love it. So everybody, if you're watching on the replay, please leave any questions, comments, tag us. We'll come back. We'll keep the conversation going and connect with Hilary over at therelaunch.com. Listen to her podcasts, go to her events, hire her, put her on your stage, whatever works. But like, listen to this woman. She knows what she's talking about.
Well, Donna, I feel the same about you. So thank you. You're a beautiful soul and an amazing businesswoman.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great Wednesday, everyone, and we will be back next week.